Well, this comes as absolutely no surprise. Motorsport Games just lost the IndyCar license. What does this mean for the future of an IndyCar game? And what does this mean for Motorsport Games? And how much longer will they exist before they officially close their doors for good? Let's go ahead and break everything down today on Shifting Gears.
Let's go! That is my guy! Yeah!
I'm Alan Bailey, and before another CEO reportedly commits another felony, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you don't miss a video. And now you can become a channel member with the link in the description below to get early access to brand new videos early before the general public. And make sure that you log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. Basically, is how I feel about this whole thing, because essentially anybody who's half been paying attention, including myself and fellow reporters who have been on top of this, in particular Mike Straw over at Insider Gaming, this was inevitable. We saw this coming from a mile away. We've had to stay quiet about it for legal reasons, but now we can officially say IndyCar has terminated its agreement with Motorsport Games. Yeah. It's official now. The IndyCar game for Motorsport Games is officially dead. According to an SEC filing from November 8th, 2023 that was made public yesterday, confirms that the organization IndyCar has terminated its 2 licensing agreements with the Miami-based developer. So at this point, it's official, it is legal, despite all of the screenshots, despite what little hype was built around this game after NASCAR 21 Ignition failed miserably in every conceivable way. The game is officially dead. And it's not really a surprise, because going back a couple of weeks ago, Motorsport Games laid off the entire development team that was working on the IndyCar game from its Australia studios. So essentially, this game hasn't really had anybody working on it for the better part of 7 to 10 days. Not good. Clearly a sign that this game was going to not come to market. Originally, the game was supposed to come out this calendar year, but it got pushed back because of development issues and quality control issues. And IndyCar saw what happened with the NASCAR franchise and decided, yeah, we're not going to let you go ahead and screw this one. We're going to go ahead and do a little quality control on this one, which is what NASCAR attempted to do before NASCAR 21 Ignition hit the market. The filing did give us a little bit of a statement from IndyCar stating, quote, IndyCar LLC stated that its decision to terminate the IndyCar license agreements was due to the company's alleged failure to satisfy certain of its obligations under the IndyCar licensing agreement, including making IndyCar Racing Series video gaming products available in the United States and facilitating a minimal number of IndyCar Racing Series esports events, in each case as separate as the applicable IndyCar licensing agreement, unquote. This is what almost happened with the NASCAR license earlier this year. Essentially, Motorsport Games ran out of time and didn't put the product on the market in time and didn't host esports events by their given deadlines. And essentially, Motorsport Games just simply ran out of time and went past the given deadline. IndyCar wrote those into the contract a little bit more strictly than NASCAR did. Again, this is simply a case of IndyCar learning from NASCAR's mistakes, or in this case, Motorsport Games' shortcomings with the NASCAR license. Ultimately, what does this mean for IndyCar fans? Unfortunately, it means, frankly, that we will not see a new IndyCar video game for quite some time. At earliest, and I'm giving a best estimate here, we're looking 3 to 5 years before we see a game come to market, and that is assuming that another gaming developer comes forward and works with IndyCar sometime in the next 12 months. I do think that that is a direction that IndyCar is trying to go. They are definitely talking to other studios. I cannot confirm which studios that they are talking to because those are ongoing negotiations, and we simply do not want to risk compromising those negotiations. But you're more than welcome to speculate in the comments down below with what studios you would like to see take over the IndyCar gaming franchise and maybe develop a console gaming for IndyCar. Yes, I am more than certain that iRacing will step forward and at least attempt some of those negotiations. And does this ultimately mean that we will see esports events in the IndyCar series on iRacing sometime in the near future? Potentially. Unfortunately, contracts with iRacing and IndyCar came to an end because of the exclusivity deal with Motorsport Games, but now that contract is null and terminated as of today, meaning that those events and further discussions with a new contract can happen from today on. Again, these discussions are just now starting. They take months, if not years, to iron out and finalize. We could see a new contract with IndyCar and a new developer sometime in the next few weeks if things progress rapidly, or several months or years from now, depending on how those negotiations pan out and the level of interest from the developer standpoint and how quickly both sides want to come to an agreement. But given how things ended so quickly with IndyCar and Motorsport Games, I think that IndyCar is going to enter any discussion and any contract with a little bit more caution, and they're going to do their homework a little bit more extensively so that they don't end up in a position that NASCAR was in with NASCAR 21 Ignition. And if you're unaware, Motorsport Games sold the NASCAR license to iRacing and lost agreements with the BTCC and now with IndyCar. So essentially, Motorsport Games doesn't really have a whole lot to offer anyone at this point, unfortunately. Yes, they still have the virtual Le Mans series that even Max Verstappen came forward and complained about. And they still have their current products that have been developed for, at this point, years, such as R-Factor 2, which is almost 10 years old at this point, Kartcraft, which doesn't offer that much and is essentially an R-Factor 2 ripoff, and of course the R-Factor 2 DLC that is known as NASCAR 21 Ignition. Something that was also in the filing was the fact that Motorsport Games unfortunately owes a lot of money to a lot of people at this point. Quote, evaluating the validity of IndyCar LLC's notice of termination, including demands for certain payments under the IndyCar license agreements, as well as the company's options under the IndyCar license agreements, unquote. Honestly, we can sit here and pick apart every little thing that this company has done, from the CEO who has been accused of running a Ponzi scheme and of committing several felonies, to a hostile work environment, to a sexist work environment, to employees at Motorsport Games working all hours of the night, to some employees at Motorsport Games simply not being paid for several months on end, to the forced relocation without compensation to employees from one country to literally the other side of the planet, while reportedly taking a pay cut, to some reporters and YouTubers who reportedly covered up ex-CEO Dmitry Kosko's shortcomings due to them receiving substantial gifts from the company. Motorsport Games has failed in every conceivable way, and this ultimately looks like they're within weeks, if not days, from permanently closing their offices. At this point, not many people are coming into the office, checks are bouncing unfortunately, and the substantial debt for Motorsport Games is simply too much to overcome, with simply no products in development ready to be launched, no income substantial enough to actually pay off these debts, let alone sustain the company, and with very little assets to offer up as collateral to potential loans and debt consolidation companies. This company is simply circling the drain at this point. It's been a long process that has happened over the course of the last 3 years, but this company might finally bite the dust. But let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about Motorsport Games? Ultimately, we know what its legacy is going to be: failure in every conceivable way. But to the employees of Motorsport Games that suffered under this reign and unfortunately had their lives permanently altered and some destroyed, I'm sorry. Sincerely, you deserved better. To the fans and gamers who spent money on these products that ultimately failed miserably, that were not only underwhelming but also undercooked by gaming developer Motorsport Games, I'm sorry. We all deserved significantly better from this company. But I want to hear what you have to say about Motorsport Games in the comments down below. Let me know what you think its long-lasting legacy will be, and let me know what you think its biggest atrocity will be. I want to thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. If you haven't already, make sure that you mash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a video. And now you can become a gearhead, become a channel member right here on YouTube by clicking the link in the description, and for a low monthly fee, you can get early access to all videos here on the channel, including the news and the gaming videos. Plus, you get exclusive access to our Discord so that you can keep up with everything that's happening in the world of motorsports and gaming. Plus, you'll also get a voice in the decisions of which videos get made here on the channel. And in the meantime, make sure that you log on to AmericanRacingNetwork.com for the latest motorsports news. ARN, the Motorsports Authority. I want to thank you all so much for watching all the way to the end. Oh, IndyCar fans, you deserve so much better. For Shifting Gears, I'm Alan Bailey. We'll see you at the track.